This video is sponsored by Squarespace. It's art challenge season on Instagram, and there are so many nice challenges to choose from that I get overwhelmed and don't even know where to begin. So I'm going to warm up with what I think is the easiest art challenge of them all, redrawing one of my old illustrations in my current style, and I'll tell you about why I think there are so many benefits to doing this while I draw it. You only need two things to join me in this challenge. First, you need some art that you drew quite early on in your art journey. If you're still a beginner and haven't been drawing for very long, then that's totally fine too. Just choose one of your earlier pieces. I'm going right back to my earliest posts on Instagram to find a cute and simple illustration that I think I would enjoy creating again. Something like this one, because for me, I haven't drawn any people in a while and I think it would be nice to recreate it. I originally drew this illustration in 2020 and I've drawn about 450 illustrations since then, not even including a couple hundred pages of picture books. So I'm really interested to see how this new version turns out in the second step, which is to simply redraw that art that you chose in your current style. That's why it's such an easy challenge. You don't have to worry about new drawing ideas, you don't have to try to interpret somebody else's prompt list every day, you don't have to commit to a whole month of drawing, you're just remaking something that you've already done. Don't get me wrong, I love big drawing challenges, but sometimes I just want something easy. I've created an Instagram hashtag for this challenge, so you can find us over there if you want to join in and still get the social media reach that comes from joining a challenge online. Or of course, you can also join in privately at home and not show anybody, that's fine too. I think it's natural to feel a bit hesitant about redrawing old art because although technically it's easy to copy and redraw something I've already done, mentally it can feel a bit intimidating because what if I don't like my new drawings as much as my first one? Will I feel like I've actually moved backwards instead of forwards? And that's a valid concern because we want to see that we're progressing as artists. But try to remove that pressure for yourself and enjoy the process of creating it because trust me, regardless of the outcome, you can learn a lot as an artist by comparing your old style to your new style, and that will definitely help you progress as an artist either way. When we reflect on where we've come from, we learn a few really valuable things. First, we're reminded of some of the little touches and techniques that we used to use that we've accidentally lost along the way. It's often not a conscious choice, we maybe just slowly stop doing them, so it's powerful to look back and pick back up those pieces that you really like. Often when we're beginners, there's a lot of simplicity and naivety in our work that gets unlearned as we improve our skills, so I think it's nice to stay connected to that because sometimes that's where the gold is. Sometimes not, but see if there's anything in your original art that you really like that you just don't do anymore. For example, my original drawing has a happiness in the girl's expression that I really like, and that's because her smile is so high and large, but these days I draw faces differently and with a nose, so I wouldn't draw it the same, but it would be nice if I could find a way to incorporate that joy into her expression still. Another thing that we can learn from this challenge is how far we've come since we started, which is such a powerful thing to remind ourselves of. We gain a lot of our self-belief and confidence by seeing the evidence of what we can do. So doing this exercise can show you in cold, hard proof that you are an artist who is learning and growing, and that is something to feel confident about. It's not that your new art has to be better and that you have to like it more, but take notice as you do this challenge of how much you know now that you didn't know before. What techniques are you using this time that you had no idea how to do the last time you drew it? Are you like me and drawing in a totally different medium, or are you maybe using a different process for sketching or for shading? All of the little things that you've learned are worthy of celebrating, so this is a nice opportunity to acknowledge for yourself how much you've grown. For example, I've learned to draw hands since I last drew this, so now I can give her fingers. I've also learned how to draw in Photoshop with digital brushes and made my own brushes to draw with. You might still be quite early in your art journey, so the differences for your art might be more subtle, but focus on what you've learned and how much you've progressed, even if it seems small. And we also learn from this challenge what we still want to improve on. When we're starting out, there are lots of things that we want to learn how to do, and we slowly make our way through that list. But unless you've been at it for decades, there are probably still some things that you want to learn. The first time I drew this illustration, I knew that there were lots of things that I was going to get better at, and I've done lots of those things, but drawing it a second time highlights to me the skills that I still want to improve on, and that helps give me a direction for what to focus on next. For example, I've always drawn simple faces, and sometimes I like that simplicity, but I still want to improve how I draw people. I don't draw them very often really because I usually prefer drawing animals, so redrawing this character has reminded me that that's a skill that I want to learn and get better at. And aside from the things that you learn about your art style from a redrawing challenge like this, I also love that you don't need to come up with a new drawing idea. You've already done the work on the idea and the composition before, you just need to draw it again. You don't always need to be drawing new things and coming up with new ideas to be moving forward as an artist. So whenever you don't want to come up with a new idea, definitely consider redrawing one of your old illustrations. Especially with the need to be posting on social media all the time to grow an audience, redrawing can be an easy way to make a new piece of content, and it's one that, in my experience, people are usually quite engaged with because there's a story between your old art and your new art. So let's do a quick comparison and see what I learned from doing this challenge for myself. I think I like the simplicity of the girl more in the first version, but the character of the cat more in the second version. And there's something nice about the texture of the colored pencil in the first one, so maybe that's something I'd like to bring back into my art some more, because maybe it's gotten a bit too digital. I like that I can draw hands now, because in the first one she doesn't have hands at all, and I can also draw without needing outlines, which I couldn't do the first time around. And I think I've gotten technically better at drawing people, but I still feel like I have a long way to go in characterizing my human characters, so maybe that's something I can focus on improving next. If you do this challenge and post it on Instagram, be sure to use our hashtag so that you can find other artists doing the same thing, and then you have a higher chance of getting engagement on your post. Plus, it's just nice to connect with other artists. If you'd like more help and community on your art journey, then consider joining me on Patreon, where I host an illustration club every month, and I also have lots of video art tutorials and step-by-step guides that you can get instant access to if you join. You can browse all of the Patreon benefits on my website, which I created using Squarespace, who are the sponsor of this video, and I cannot recommend them enough because I think they're really fantastic for making a creative website. I've been using Squarespace for years now because it does everything I need as an artist. You can showcase your work there, host a blog to generate traffic and boost SEO, and you can even create a shop for your art directly on Squarespace or sell your services as an artist if you want to start selling commissions. They have a great selection of website templates for showcasing your art in an online portfolio, and it's so easy to customize your site because you can literally just drag and drop your elements to where you'd like them, so it's really intuitive for visual people like us. There's no coding required, you can just focus on the fun creative bits. Plus, you can preview and customize what your website looks like across desktop and mobile so that you have full control of your design, which is really handy. They also have built-in SEO tools to help you show up more often to more people, which is important if you're trying to grow an art career, because we all know how difficult it is to be seen online. Check out squarespace.com for a free trial to see what your business or portfolio website could look like, and when you're ready to launch, go to www.squarespace.com/Mimimoo illustration to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Thanks so much for watching this video. Give it a like and subscribe if you haven't already for more art videos. I appreciate you all so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye!